Today we're going to go over the planetary aspects that are surrounding us and affecting us and impacting us in this upcoming week of March 5th through the 11th. And right now we are in kind of like a New Year's Eve, I suppose you could call it again, as we are in the last couple of weeks of the sun touring the very last sign of the zodiac, Pisces. Now in astrology, Pisces, like I said, is the very last sign in the wheel. And it represents all things that are the ending and 12th house, I suppose you could call it in astrology. And that deals a lot with our karma, our debts that we carry into this lifetime from previous lifetimes, missions that our soul says, I'm here to do this lifetime, darn it, and I'm going to get it right. The 12th house deals with the subconscious mind and the things that we repress way, way, way in the back of it. And when the sun tours the sign of Pisces, those things come to light. The sun shines a light on those areas. And so you've been noticing in the past couple of weeks, as the sun has moved into Pisces, dreams are coming more to the forefront, because remember, this deals with the subconscious mind and those realms that are beyond what are reality in the world we're in now. That line that goes just past that. That's Pisces, and it sees into the universal realm, into the spiritual realm. And those things are sharpened as the sun goes through Pisces. And it deals a lot with deep emotion as well. Going back into that subconscious area is painful. It's tough. And sometimes it's easier to access those realms in our dreams. And 2018 is a year where we are trying to drag those things out of that subconscious mind. We're trying to heal the things that have brought changes in the past year. 2017 was such a big year of new beginnings. And now it's the year of making some solid ground under our feet from those new beginnings. But in order to bring that solid ground on, we got to heal up some things first. And it really wants to heal up those things that we repress and push back into that subconscious mind. So here we are back to the beginning again. The sun is shining a light on those areas. Are you having repetitive dreams lately about certain things that need to be healed? What it's trying to do is drag it into the light of day and be dealt with and healed. That dark area of the subconscious mind, not only is it in Pisces, but it also deals with Scorpio too. Scorpio is the major transformations that result from endings or from those new beginnings that are thrown onto us. But a new beginning can only start from something that has to end first. Relationship, job, friendship, cycles that we repeat, whatever it is, right? Things that worked at one time but don't work now. Scorpio deals with the ending of that process and the beginning of the next. Jupiter, our good old friend Jupiter, has been in Scorpio, and it just started 10/10. October of last year. Hasn't been there since 2005. And as it goes through Scorpio, that's the big driving force of the healing from those roots of those issues that we repeat over and over again, where the cycle is ending and rebuilding. Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion and opportunity where there was none before. So as it goes through that sign of loss and death and crisis and trauma and transformations that come from those endings, it brings with it an opportunity to heal in ways we've never healed really before, honestly, because these new changes that have been thrown on us are pushing us into our greater soul's purpose, into what we're here to do. We access that realm better in Pisces when the sun goes through Pisces. What is my soul here to do in the first place? And so here we are in this New Year's Eve time frame right now again, waiting for the sun to move into Aries, the very first sign of the zodiac, the new beginning. And in this time frame, our faster moving planets are also finishing up their tour of that sign of Pisces, Venus and Mercury. Mercury is the planet of the mind, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty and money, all things heart center. That's what Venus has to deal with. Now, when these planets go through the sign of Pisces every year, for the 3 weeks that they're in those signs, they get to the heart of the matter. They go back into those subconscious realms. They stimulate those things. They activate them. They help us to feel deeply, because remember, Pisces is a deep feeling water sign, and it goes and it feels that emotion. And sometimes it can feel the emotions of others so strongly that it will take those emotions on. As Mercury and Venus have been going through that sign, it's reminding us of where we're carrying those energies of others and their emotions and their pain and their suffering and their lessons and their karma, and where that needs to be released. This week they change out of those signs. Those faster moving planets are moving out of Pisces and then getting ready to move into the true energy of 2018, which is transformation and healing. Now, this is the week they move into Aries. But before they do, I find it very beautiful and fitting that they are aligning with the asteroid Chiron. What in the world is Chiron, you wonder? And what does an asteroid really impact us? Believe it or not, Chiron is such a gigantic asteroid that it's bigger than the planet Pluto. It's a huge, huge asteroid flying out there in between the planets of Jupiter and Saturn. There used to be a planet in that space between those two planets, and now between that great distance between Jupiter, the planet of luck, and Saturn, the planet of karma and lessons, in between that great expanse, there is an asteroid belt from that planet that used to exist, that who knows what happened, right? Some aliens done blown it up or something, who knows? But all of it is in these particles and pieces, and some fragments are gigantic. Chiron is one of them, and they circulate in that span in between. But they still impact the vibration of the universe and how it affects us. Now, Chiron, think of that. There used to be a planet there, and it got blown all to smithereens, right? But it still survives and thrives. There had to be an ending, didn't there? A great wound, and so is Chiron. It represents the wounded healer, the greatest wound that we endure in our lives, but somehow we still survive and we still orbit and radiate in that space as well. But we've transformed. We're not the same. And that's what Chiron represents too. Where Chiron lands in your birth chart is going to indicate where the greatest wound is in your lifetime, this lifetime. And it will get triggered at various points in our life. And the transiting Chiron also impacts us as well. It reminds us of our own personal Chiron in this lifetime. But it also brings out those wounds a little bit stronger. And this week, as Venus and Mercury, planet of the mind and planet of the heart, move out of Pisces, they're remembering these things. They're remembering deeply the connections to others, what emotions and issues and karma is mine and what is this other person's. Where do I stop trying to solve their karma issues, problems, and focus on mine? Chiron's going to remind that of us. This week, Venus, Mercury, they align, they take on one another's energies, feeling those deep emotions of others and where that line is at, but they align with Chiron. And this is awesome. This is a wonderful energy out there because it doesn't happen every year. Yes, these planets align with Chiron, but never do they happen where Mercury and Venus are together embodying one another's energy. Our mind is totally in tune with what our soul and our dreams and our spirit is saying in terms of our love, our money, our heart center, how our mindset works. It's amazing. And seeing the karma and seeing the point of our soul's purpose and why 2017 had to happen to bring these new beginnings, right? When they align with Chiron this week, I think it's a beautiful ending for the astrological year, helping us to really focus on where those areas need to be cut, where those karmic cords need to be cut. And as this energy happens at the beginning of this week, don't be surprised if it radiates in your life as well. Those old wounds that resurface in terms of love and money and our heart center and how much we feel and how deeply we feel, and recognizing those karmic cords that are ours and those that belong to others. This is a week where it comes to the forefront, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Because ultimately it's reminding us, just like those resolutions that we're setting for this new astrological year coming ahead of the healing, the ball is dropping and it's reminding us of the resolutions of things that we need to let go of. So a beautiful week for that, focusing on that. And we're going into this amazing astrological new year soon, in the next couple of weeks, right? Hold on just a moment. We got a little bit of craziness out there. I've returned. So I have a son that is a Pisces, and we had his 9th birthday party yesterday. And so the house is filled with extremely loud toys at the moment. And they're getting a little crazy with one of the new ones, which happens to be a giant race car that is smashing into my walls and furniture as we speak. So, talk about wounds, huh? My poor Trim is getting wounded up out there at my coffee table. So, anyway, this goes in really well, right? Because here we are healing those gashes and wounds from the things that are happening that we don't want for them to, but they do anyway. And sometimes those things happen because we wouldn't have moved out of our comfort zone regardless, right? We wouldn't have made that choice on our own had these issues and unexpected things happen to push us into saying, wait a second, this has to change, right? This has to change. And this is one of those weeks a lot of those things come to the forefront. Maybe this is a week where something does happen because we have this Mars-Uranus trine that's happening at the end of the week on Sunday. And Uranus is the planet that wants to free us and liberate us, right? And it's a very active planet this year, thanks to Aquarius and some things that we have happening in that sign this year. Mars is going to be retrograding in Aquarius for quite some time throughout the summer. And as it does, Mars is the engine that drives us. And when the engine slows down in the retrograde, it's a lot of focus on introspection. A lot of energy towards that. And this is the year that the introspection is about the healing, right? Bringing these things to the surface. Now, Uranus, like I was saying, and Mars, so here's these two major things that are working together for that 2018 energy. They're stirring in together, making a once-a-year connection this week in the same time frame that we're sewing up the loose ends as the ball is dropping in the astrological New Year's Eve time frame that we're in. When it's doing this, Mars and Uranus, when they align together and work together, they motivate us. That's the Mars aspect, motivating us to free ourselves. Uranus, Aquarius. Free ourselves from chains of the past, cycles of the past. Freeing us from limitations, boundaries, walls that we set for ourselves, or maybe ones that we didn't build in the first place and we get trampled on because of it. There's so many things that surface this week and bring themselves to light, and we know that the healing is going to occur. A lot of that healing this year happens in the summertime, because that's when Mars actually does retrograde in the sign. But this is one of those weeks where it gives us a preface. It gives us a little bit of insight on what it is that we're going to be detaching from the world and working on inwardly throughout this summer. So that energy is around this week. Also, when Mars and Uranus trine like this too, it brings these random opportunities to the surface. It stimulates change because that's what it's trying to do. So don't be surprised if the universe throws you a little open window this week and shows you into that future where some changes may be brought in. Maybe it's something that's just stimulating some new thought process in you as well. Because remember, the planet of the mind, Pisces, is leaving. In Pisces, the planet of the mind is leaving Pisces, and it's moving into Aries, that first sign of the zodiac this week. With it comes fresh new ideas, ready to move ahead, ready for new beginnings, ready for that change, and not so much focused on the past anymore. So it's ready to move forward. And as a result, the universe says, hey, I see your enthusiasm for change and what the year is going to have ahead for you. Let's throw you some new little exciting experiences or unusual people. Ways that you need to break out of those comfort zones, right? This is a week that shines a light on it. Not that you have to act on it, right? You have the whole 2018 to act on it. But it's great that the universe gives us windows repeatedly. Sometimes those windows are stronger, and that's what astrology is great for, because it helps us recognize the windows and when the energy is going to be best for us to make these leaps. This is a week where follow that intuition. Follow what it's telling you, because if something new pops up, new job, new a chance to heal something, a chance to move past something, a chance to recognize something, do it, act on it, follow that intuition, and it won't lead you wrong, right? Jupiter, that's the big driving force for the luck and the healing and the transformation this year, right? Very Scorpio energy. That's why I say this is a year for Scorpios. Scorpios, y'all have to go through so much in this lifetime, and so much loss and so much crisis, more so than other signs. Jupiter's come back to your sign. It hasn't been there since 2005. It is trying to bring luck for you like it hasn't for a while, and healing for you because you get wounded the deepest, because you have to deal with the darkest of the things in this lifetime, and this is a chance to let some of those things go. This is a week where Jupiter in that sign, you don't have to be a Scorpio to have that happening. This is where Jupiter's working with all of us to heal the grief of loss that has happened, especially in this past couple of years, especially the past year. Here it is, ready to move forward. Now this week, this is a big start because Jupiter goes into its retrograde phase. How interesting is this? And this timing of that New Year's Eve ball drop, this is another major player of this year. Jupiter going through Scorpio is huge. This is the driving force of pulling those roots up, looking at those cycles that we repeat again and again. A lot of it is from buried, repressed things in the subconscious mind. That sounds familiar, right? Some other stuff that's going on this week. And these things that we repressed so far back there that we adopt this new way of dealing with stuff as a result. Because we can't handle it, we repress it, and then it ends up making us repeat these cycles again and again in our life. And we don't really know any better. This is a year we pull those roots up and heal them. A lot of that is thanks to the Jupiter and Scorpio. Thinking about those things, though, going back into that subconscious mind and trying to figure out what was the source of this trauma. Was it a trauma? Was it from this lifetime? Was it from a past lifetime? As Jupiter goes into its retrograde phase over the next 4 months, which also is in that perfect timing of when Mars is going to be doing its retrograde phasing and the liberating aspect of Aquarius, Jupiter's going to be retrograde as well. This is a time every year when Jupiter retrogrades where we introspect. It's okay to not be so outward about everything and expressive and wanting to share those things outwardly. It's about expressing them inwardly and dealing with them inwardly. As it goes into this retrograde of Scorpio, we haven't been there since 2005, 2006. So we're doing a lot of looking back to the losses from that time frame, how they've impacted us, shifted us, changed us, and where we're moving forward as a result. No playing with it though, right? Okay. Sorry. So, boy, here we go. This car, I tell you what, is going to be the death of me today. Anyway, so here we go, right? This phase, this time frame, this retrograde is a great time frame to experience it, to look to these things and figure out where those roots are at. Great week for that. Great time for this. This is such a positive, powerful year, my friends. Powerful, powerful, powerful year. And this is one of those weeks we get little peaks and windows of opportunity. If you're ready to let these things go, I had a client the other night under that amazing full moon that we just went through. Massive, powerful full moon that's dragging these things to the surface as well. If you've recognized what cycles you want to change and you're ready to release them, these are the time frames that it's perfect to do that. You don't have to wait till June. You don't have to do that. That's okay. These are more windows that come down the road later or may get thrown onto us for those that want to stay stuck in the comfort zones. If you're ready to let it go now, the universe is working with you in such an amazing way this week to do that. Just feel what comes to you. Listen to those dreams. Write them down. Maybe dreams other people are having of you are giving some signs and insight as well. So let's focus on that. Wowee zowie. I tell you what, such a interesting year we've got. And I know 2019 is going to be such a wonderful year where those foundations are solid and set, and it's more action, making it happen, as opposed to manifesting what it is and healing those cracks in the foundations that this year is. 2019 is going to be great. So let's just think about that, as we do our card reading for the week. Kind of pull this all together. See what angel is with us here. Yes. Ooh, super strong. O-M wonderful G. How's about that, yo? So this is such an awesome little stone I got out in Lake Superior. And I call this stone the Warrior Stone. It's this black stone. Black stones are always protection for us, right? Letting us know that we're always protected. That's the way I looked at this stone. Beautiful, beautiful. But it's got this white in between, that rebel breaking through, doing what's best for it, being the warrior, embodying that strength and confidence necessary to blaze ahead with new things in life, right? You got to have a lot of confidence to make some major changes, right? And that's what the stone represents. It grounds us and gives us that capacity to have the confidence to act when we need to act, when those windows appear. We need to take them. The universe may bring them back to you, but sometimes it's not right away. And sometimes it's not a few months away like this year brings us. Sometimes it's years, decades. Sometimes you have to know when to find that warrior inside and act. Right? As the sun moves into Aries, Aries is the warrior because it's ruled by Mars. Mars is that engine that makes us go. Mars is a big player in that. Remember, when it retrogrades in the summertime, having us really look to the past and where we need to free ourselves and find that inner warrior. That angel is around. I don't say that it's a specific archangel. This is one where it's the warrior angel, our protective guardian angel, our main compadre through the entire life cycle that we've chosen to go through this lifetime. We all have one main guardian angel, BFF, spiritual BFF, right? And this one says that it's around full force this week because it's highly aware of the psychic energy and universal energies out there working with us. And it's keeping you protected in that process too. Because no matter what, as much as the warrior is coming out, and there's all these, sucks, you can't really see this really well, but there's lots of really awesome streaks of iron in there. That's the red and the fire within us. But no matter how much we have that, we're always protected. Not only do we have that guardian angel, we all got 5 spirit guides in general that are always around us, protecting us, that have been there. We have new guides that come in and protect us and guide us at certain phases and junctions in our life, especially the ones where we make major changes. Sound familiar? Yeah, there's new energies that come in as well. So you're fully protected, and this stone reminds you of that fact as well. So let's call on that guardian angel and see what that message is for this wonderful week of illumination. Yep, this is it. Feel it. Isn't this interesting? Isn't this interesting? So the 8 of Water is a card of moving on, moving past, leaving some things behind. You gotta have courage to do that, right? Old mindsets, old thought processes, old relationships, old jobs, old patterns, especially the repetitive patterns that you don't necessarily even realize you're doing, and it's the result of someone else's actions or repressed emotions, repressed anything, old karma from the past. This is a card of moving past it. How fitting is that with everything? Let me read you exactly what this card says. A desire to move on. Here, right? The search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. And that's very much so, Pisces. Spiritual and emotional growth. Spiritual connection with God is Pisces. That's what Pisces represents, is that direct connection with the spirit and essence of God. When we're in tune with that, we can hear our intuition stronger, and that helps us to do this, to move forward. I'm also going to pull a chakra card with this. What a great card to pull. They're there keeping you safe in the darkness when you're under the water and you don't know what you're doing, where you're going. You just have this fire on the inside. The warrior on the inside says, I have to search and find and explore something new because this old is not working. Ain't working. 2018 is the year where we recognize that and move past it. So that's amazing. Great energy we've got in there. The warrior stone and the desire to move forward. But let's get one more card. Chakra. Focus on where some of that stagnated energy is keeping us from moving forward. Yes. Okay, hold on. Right here. Renewal. The root chakra. That's where fear lives. Fear lives in our root chakra, at the base of our spine. You having some issues there? Are you having some tailbone pain? Are you having pain in the butt, literally? Are you repeatedly having pain in the butt issues happening outwardly as well? It's root chakra talking, saying that, hey, we got way too much fear taken over, and when we fear what we lack in reality, we just manifest more and more of that. And this is a card that reminds us of that stagnated fear and energy will stay stuck in there. It'll keep the abundance from coming in. So this week, let's ask. I love it too, because remember I talked about the red that radiates outward and this amazing, cool warrior stone. It's doing the same in this card as well. A card that indicates massive changes on the horizon. It really is. But it's a rebirth. Just like how Chiron got all exploded from another planet between Jupiter and Saturn a long time ago. Same with us. We may have to deconstruct what we thought was this situation, us, life, whatever, before. But now it's broken down into its truer form, and it can function even stronger as it emerges from those ashes. And that's what all of these things represent. So just embody that, know that you're protected, and know you can call on all of your guides at any time for guidance and support. So thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful week. Bye.